Hi, sweetie pies. So I wanted to talk to you about something. In 2017, I was involved in an active shooting code at the hospital that I worked at. I worked as a postpartum nurse. So after you have your baby, you would come over to my floor and I would take care of you and your newborn. It was the most wonderful job in the world. I was so blessed to have it. So I wrote, after therapy and different things, I wrote what happened that day as a way of coping, as a way of therapy. And I did this at the advice of my therapist, and I just wanted to read it to you guys. I have it on my iPad here, so pardon me if I'm looking away, but I do want to read it to you guys. Okay. I was involved in an active shooting code while working as a nurse at my hospital. It ended up being cleared by police and found a patient unarmed that made threats to 911. There was a second person seen with a gun outside the hospital that was never apprehended. There was literally one small blurb in the newspaper and on TV. That's it. Since it ended up being unfounded, the media circus didn't exist. The profound effect it has had on me has been life-altering. It happened at 12:40 a.m. on 3/1/17. Over the entire intercom, it was announced, "Active shooter, armed intruder, seek shelter now. Silence all electronic devices and remain calm." I have goosebumps head to toe. I'm sorry. I had to follow protocol and abandon my patients, which were maternity patients that had just delivered brand new babies. I ran and thought as fast as I could and find a place to hide in complete and utter darkness and fear. I hid for 41 life-changing minutes as I begged and pleaded with God for my life to see my babies again. I had my cell phone and my work phone. One of my patients called my wireless phone and it rang. It was such a shock and panic. I had checked my cell ringer, but not the work phone. I wasn't sure if I was then discovered by a gunman in the area. I answered the phone, and it was one of my patients who had just been brought over from labor and delivery to my side that was postpartum. She was a brand new C-section patient and was hooked up to IVs, still partially numb, and connected to various other equipment, essentially trapped with her newborn. There was nothing I could do. Nurses do not like to say that phrase. I then reached for my cell phone and texted my husband, who was a Brockton police officer at the time and was at work. He got back to me after he ran to the station into his commanding officer's office and showed him my text, "Active shooter in the hospital at work, please help me." I had on the other end of the phone as I begged for my life and kept repeatedly texting to him, my babies, and I begged for him to please help me. His superiors were able to call over to the police department where my hospital was and updated me. The police were at least now in the building with assault rifles and canine as they were storming the building looking for a gunman. I thought I was hearing distant shots fired as the metal stairs throughout the hospitals were echoing with police searching the building. Police had searched near me as I hid, and I didn't know if it was a gunman or if it was police. This went on for 41 painstaking minutes. Finally, over the loudspeaker, they called an all clear. I was so scared to come out. I finally did and ran to check my patients that had barricaded themselves in bathrooms, under hospital beds, behind rocking chairs, all clutching their newborns. That one patient that was my new C-section that had just come over from labor and delivery that I previously spoke of, she was able to still be numb, get herself out of the bed, take her baby, herself, her IV pole, her catheter bag, and her baby's bassinet into the bathroom and barricaded herself in. If that does not truly speak to the strength of a mother, I don't know what else does. Another patient's baby I found to be symptomatic of low blood sugar, and after immediately testing the infant, the sugar was found to be profoundly dangerous. And the patients were beside themselves, as were the staff. I stayed strong. I cared for my patients as a registered nurse. I completed my shift at 7:30 a.m. on March 1st, 2017, and I never went back.